We know for sure that entrepreneurship is very difficult. That's the whole thing about America. You know that. We want to make sure everyone gets the opportunity.
You're going to miss so many shots, and you're going to miss all of them if you don't even shoot it. You know, but you got to at least try. You got to go for it.
All of our mentors have actually walked the walk.
Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best, if he wins, knows the thrills of high achievement, and if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat."
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Arena, sponsored by the Taco Bell Foundation, Junior Achievement USA, and the Brian Hamilton Foundation. You are about to witness some of the nation's top teen entrepreneurs presenting their businesses to experienced business leaders and professional athletes. And now, let's enter The Arena. Please welcome our moderator.
Thank you all for joining us today on The Arena. I am JJ Ramberg. I spent more than a decade hosting the program Your Business on MSNBC, which focused on entrepreneurship. I'm the founder of two companies myself, Good Pods and Search Kibble, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here today. And I am 100% sure that I'm going to be incredibly impressed with the presentations we're all about to listen to. What makes me personally so excited to be here and so excited about this focus on entrepreneurship in teens is that I think that it promotes a mindset that is so important. It's not just to have a successful career, but frankly, just to have a successful life in general. Having an entrepreneurial mindset means you're the kind of person who sees a problem and then tries to find a solution for it. It means you're the kind of person who takes a risk and knows how to deal not only with success, that's easy, well, mostly it's easy, but also with failure, and that's even more important. And then you're the kind of person who can identify your own strengths and weaknesses and work with others who complement you. For those of you who are new to this, The Arena is an action-packed web series where teen entrepreneurs present their businesses to a group of coaches who are successful entrepreneurs, professional athletes, and celebrities. This is not an idea pitch. It's not a pitch event. These teens already have small businesses and they're looking for advice and looking to showcase their businesses as examples for other youth across the country. The coaches know what it's like to be in the arena, and they're going to provide advice that these young people will need to grow their skills and their ventures, and also to have the audience learn from as well. For this episode, we have teens from all parts of the country sharing their journeys. And before I do that, I want to introduce our two coaches. AC Green, are you there? All right, well, we've got two coaches. The first one is AC Green. He's going to be here in a second. We're having some technical problems, so I might step in for him for a second, but I want to just tell you a bit about him first. He's a former NBA player with the Los Angeles Lakers, three-time NBA champion. Additionally, AC holds the record for the most consecutive games played in the NBA with 1,132 and has been called the Iron Man. More importantly, AC never missed a class in his educational career, including his time at Oregon State University. He is the founder of the AC Green Youth Foundation, where he promotes abstinence before marriage and leadership characteristics. And we'll welcome him as soon as he comes on. Also, I want to introduce you to the person behind this all, and he is our second coach, Brian Hamilton. He's an entrepreneur, he's a philanthropist, and he is the leading voice on the power of ownership to transform lives. He founded SageWorks, the country's first fintech company, which developed a patented technology that has helped millions of small business owners translate complex financial information. He's also the founder of Inmates to Entrepreneurs, the longest running program of its kind that teaches people with criminal records how to start and grow their own businesses. And finally, through his programs at the Brian Hamilton Foundation, he helps people overcome obstacles to realize their greatest potential through business ownership. He started his first business when he was just 8 years old, and we'll hear some stories like that today too from some other teens, mowing lawns, and he was first to go to college in his family. Welcome, Brian, and thank you for helping us kick off today.
Well, JJ, I genuinely miss you. When you were hosting MSNBC's Your Business, you'd get me up at 6 o'clock in the morning. On a Sunday, I think, on a Sunday, and only you could do that. Go ahead.
It was Sunday. It was Sunday, and I just cannot thank you enough for being here and for being the man behind all of this.
Yeah, well, listen, it's wonderful to see you again. Seriously, I love the show, and I miss you, and it's great to be here. And before I start, I have to say, Ryan, I want to get some hairstyle list. I want Ryan's hair, actually. Can I get you a hairstyle? I don't know how I look with that. But. Hey guys, I'm going to start off by saying just a couple of minutes here. Just give a little bit of an overview before we roll into you. I'm really anxious to hear from the kids. I mean, the adults are boring, and I want to hear from the kids. So. But I want to mention a couple of things that I think are important. And JJ, I want to echo a few of your points. Why entrepreneurship to begin with? I think, why are we even doing it, right? It just goes way beyond some cool show on TV called Shark Tank. There's a reason people start businesses. The first reason is wealth creation. If you look at the history of any group in our country, the way that they've built themselves up is by starting a business, by generating wealth, not just having income, but by getting wealth. And you can do that being an entrepreneur. By the way, for all you kids out there in the whole world, certainly in the United States, there is nothing wrong with saying that you want to create wealth, because if you're going to create wealth, you have to create incredible value in excess of that wealth. And I know there's lots of stories out there about, greedy business people and all this terrible things you read, but I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I know thousands of entrepreneurs and millionaires and billionaires and all across the board. The only entrepreneurs I know who have been successful have been oriented to creating value. So all that nonsense you hear, you can dispel that. One of the reasons we start businesses is to create wealth. The other reason we do it is this thing called freedom. Now I see Nick, and I think it's Nurjahanam, I'll get that right, I apologize, and Ryan on the screen here. When I was your age, you go to school and they ring the bell, and I think you got to raise your hand to go to the restroom. And, the truth is that as a young person, you don't have a lot of freedom, right? And I didn't really like it that much. And one of the beautiful things about being an entrepreneur is you get to have freedom and you get to choose your destiny. And I know that sounds hokey, but it's really true. Just the idea that you could wake up in the morning and do something that you love to do to give you that freedom. And I think the last reason that people start businesses, my son, when he was your age, Ryan, he used to argue with me about this, but he was wrong, is you get to create value. It's the greatest entrepreneurs I know are out on value creation. When you start a business, you're introducing something to our country that it didn't have before. And so you're part of this beautiful labyrinth, this fabric, this tapestry of America, really. And America was built on entrepreneurship. So, I get a little sentimental, JJ, I know that, but I do want to say that, remember, the United States was largely formed by entrepreneurs. Doesn't matter whether it was James Madison, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Samuel Adams. They were small business people. And I think the reason that we have a lot of the values that we have right now is the direct result of being an entrepreneur. So that's my pitch for entrepreneurism. And hopefully it resonates with some of you. But remember, when you start a business, you're also part of this thing that we're creating in our country, which is very, very powerful. Where are the jobs created in this country? It's very simple. Small businesses. 80% of new jobs are created by small businesses. Where is the innovation? Small businesses. So you're part of this journey that is collective to all of us.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's so nice to hear your words as somebody who has been there and done that and knows what it takes. AC, we're so happy that you're with us now.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
You missed the introduction where we gave you all your accolades, but I'd love to give you a chance to say hi to everyone.
No, it's nice to get a chance to see some of these young people so valuable and such a great future, I really believe, ahead. And so it's nice to meet you all via our conference here and how we do it, especially in these days. So I'll look forward to spending some time with you all.
All right, fantastic. Well, I'm excited to kick off the event today. And to start off our day, we have a guest who definitely has the entrepreneurial spirit. Ryan Shakes has started his first business. He was selling bags of gummy worms to his classmates. He got caught frequently, he says, but he kept the operation going somewhat secretly for several years. And according to him, he had generated about $500 by the end of 8th grade. Then he took those earnings and he purchased softbox lights and the tripod that he still uses today when he's filming. In 2014, he started a YouTube channel where he reviewed technology. Today, Ryan has grown his TikTok following to 5 million followers. That is a lot of followers. Ryan, welcome.
How's it going, guys? It's awesome to be on and stuff like that. Can you guys hear me, by the way, too?
I think a little bit louder, bud. A little bit louder. This is the world of video conferencing.
Yeah, we're having a technical difficulty with Ryan's mic. If we want to go ahead and talk to one of the students.
All right, I love Ryan. Hey, Ryan, can you hear us? You can give us the thumbs up if you can hear us. All right, we'll keep going. We're going to come back to you. I can't wait to hear your story. So why don't we start? Why don't we start with two of with our other teens who are here? So let's move to our first teen entrepreneur. She's from Atlanta, Georgia. Please welcome Noorjahan Robinson. She's the co-founder of, I love the name of your business so much, Noorjahan, Moki Pops, which is an all-natural vegan popsicle business. Noorjahan, tell us how it started. You were how old when you started your company?
I was 7 years old when I started 6 years ago. With my 2 siblings. Like you said, we are an all-natural handcrafted popsicle business in Atlanta, Georgia. We've been working diligently to build the Moki Pops brand. We've sold our products to hundreds and thousands of customers at events around Atlanta, presented to hundreds of students on entrepreneurship in schools, and guests on many radio shows and Zoom conferences. And people know who we are. But we still have challenges with keeping our customers engaged. So my question was going to be, how can we engage and build sustainable relationships with our customers and profit from it in the process? And how do the bigger companies do it?
I'm going to let AC and Brian take it away.
I can, AC, can I give that a shot, or?
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, okay, I'll give it a shot. So, Noorjahan, do you keep customer lists, like when you sell the popsicles? I have a question on the product, by the way, but do you keep lists of your customers? Do you, as you're selling them, or tell me how you track your customers, if you don't mind?
So we usually have them follow us, and they usually track us by us sending out information of where we're going to be next, or how to get our popsicles, our product. We used to keep like email lists, or they would write down their phone numbers, but we don't really do that anymore.
Right. Well, one thing, I mean, the truth is I don't know your business totally, so just take this for what it's worth. But anytime you get a customer, you want to keep their information. That's a very rich source of revenue for you. That's why the CRM businesses in our country are doing so well, like Salesforce and so whatnot. So keep track of all your customers. You email them once in a while. Do you have any referral programs? Are you give any money or incentives for people to refer your product anywhere? Do you try anything like that, or?
Not yet.
Okay, that's definitely another thing to look at. Like, try to get for everybody out there. I'm looking at 3 people right here, right? But there's thousands of kids throughout the U.S. It's like really important. The only thing that makes a business go is the power of word of mouth advertising, which is other people talking about you. And by the way, I know you guys are all younger than I am. That's easy, right? But I think you do it, you do it Facebook, you do it Instagram, you TikTok, it doesn't really matter. But you get all the information and try to get your customers selling your product. So if you can give them some type of a discount or maybe even a cash incentive for them to get the word out, that's what I would recommend. And by the way, AC, I've never met AC. I'm within 20 years, the same generation. One of the reasons I loved your career is what the power of your the power of your personage in what you've done and your value set and your ethos. And I do remember that very well. And I don't know if you want to comment on it, but what I always try to tell the kids, AC, is that, of course the product is important. Of course the product's important. There's no question about it. But what are you as a person? What do you represent for your business? If you look at the greatest entrepreneurs and the biggest brands, those entrepreneurs represent a set of values. I don't know if you want to comment on that, AC, or anything else. I'll turn it over to you. Otherwise, I'll end up talking for half an hour.
No, Brian, that's great. And I think that's awesome what you did share, because it is something very, very important to make sure you can continue to make sure you can let people know who you are as a company. And I think, even to your question, being the brand that you have right now, yes, people do need to know, and you need to help people understand who you are. And so that becoming that walking billboard, okay? Not necessarily having to spend a ton of money, but reinvest in yourself, reinvest in your business. When you reinvest in yourself, okay, by maybe finding a home, hats, T-shirts, something nominal, maybe bands of, wristbands you can have, something of that nature. And I mean wristbands, I mean like the little rubber kind, like the old WWJD or Live Strong or something of that nature. It just helps you promote what you have and who you are. So the self-promotion is not negative. There's nothing wrong with that. It's letting people know who you are and have confidence in what you bring to the table. And at the end of the day, you're really saying, ask me about it. Let me let me tell you why. And that goes to what Brian's just talking about right now. It's also the very fact of, you never want to forget who you are and where you've come from, okay, and what you stand for. And so that can be incorporated inside of all your businesses and your endeavors that you do have. You never sort of lose sight of what you really believe in, okay? And you'll find a way, and time and doors will open that you'll be able to incorporate that, even some a lot louder than others at points in time. But I think it's going to be phenomenal. It's a great question and great start. This is already exciting.
Hey, JJ, next time you'll have to put me on mute, because I'm gonna go around here a little bit. I want to ask AC a question that just occurred to me, because when I was a kid, AC, I had landscaping businesses. I had people working for me, and these guys here, they've got kids, neighbors, whatever, cousins, helping them out. In your opinion, because I think I'm not as good of an athlete as you were, but like I came up playing football. That was my trade. It was a big part of my life. And I found that the things that I learned in athletics helped me massively in business. And so what about on the leadership level? Like I can tell you, there are definitely people. We got thousands of kids across the US. There's people out here, kids. I mean, 14-year-old kids, they got 20 employees. What would you share with that? I always say at SageWorks that people will absolutely accept your frailty, because we're all frail, if they know and they believe in you as a human being. And I don't know, what would you share around the leadership things? Because some of these kids, they have employees.
Yeah, which is kudos to you. You have people that believe in your vision. Okay, they believe in what you want to do, your mission. And so if you can get it, I don't know if any of you have a sports background per se or how deep it goes, but you all have seen it and been around it to some point or another. But it's getting someone to want to come on your team, and they want to get and play with you. Okay, they want, even if it's just a simple, let's play some video games together. They want to spend time in something that you have a passion for, and that's pretty valuable. That's pretty remarkable when you can convince somebody to want to come on your side. Okay, and do something. Now this is in business, and so now you all of a sudden you have somebody that wants to work alongside of you. And I say that for a specific reason, and it's really important in the sense. Remember, you want to treat people like you like to be treated. Okay, so you, even though they might technically be working for your company because you started the brand, you started the company itself, but you at the same time you want to see them more as a partner. As a teammate, as opposed to maybe just somebody who's underneath you, but parallel to you. Okay, and so I don't want to get too confused or anything of that nature, but be a good teammate in that sense and be able to attract other good teammates. It's going to be pretty phenomenal. I think that's the resume, what we call rules for a long-term success. You can start that now.
That's right. Good but imperfect people want to follow good but imperfect people. And so you have to really guard who you are. At Inmates to Entrepreneurs, we work with people who have been incarcerated. They can say that's judicially involved now. That's the term. And what we really stress to them that when you're getting off the ground with customers or your vendors or your employees, the way you are as a person reflects on your business. And that's just the good leadership stuff that AC's referring to. Even though it seems like basic, a lot of things that are great in life are basic, but they also have, they're very true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nurjahan, I want to give you a chance to ask another question if you have any, because you have these two great minds to get advice from. So if there was anything else you wanted to ask them before we move on.
No, I think I'm fine, but I would just like to thank y'all for having me, and those were amazing responses. I will definitely take those into consideration and have that in my mind from now on.
Well, listen, Nurjahan, I have a question for you then. If you're not, I thought you were going to put me on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. How did you come up with the idea for this? Is a vegan popsicle? There's a story to that. I want to hear the story. I'd love to hear that.
Well, my father, he is vegan, and we were making popsicles for our family. So since he couldn't eat dairy or anything, we had to make it suitable for his diet. So we started making them out of coconut cream instead of, cow's milk. So it just developed from there. And then we noticed there was a lot more of our customers that happened to be vegan, and they were happy to see that they could actually eat a sweet that was suitable for their diet. So I think that's how we just went from there.
That's great. What grade are you in now, or where are you in life? Middle school, high school, or are you postgraduate? Tell me.
I'm in 7th grade. So.
Wow, it's great. And I just want to say, again, we only have an hour, guys, and you guys are vitally important, clearly, but there's thousands of kids behind you. So I'm trying to get what we're trying to do is get as much information to you as possible. The earlier that you start your journey, the more you're going to learn. I think about my life, and I've got an MBA and all the, JJ knows this school called Duke. I went there, it's a fancy school. But the truth is where I learned 90% of what I needed to learn in business was by doing what you're doing right now, starting early, learning how to turn dollars, learning how to treat customers, as AC said, learning how to treat employees and treat people how you want to be treated. These are the great lessons. So I love to hear your story, Nur Jahan, because you represent definitely my life and what I did. But the earlier you can start, even if you quote fail, which there really is no failure in this, but it's great because you just pick up so much stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nur Jahan, and good luck with your business. I can't wait to visit Atlanta and try one of your popsicles sometime soon. Everyone should go follow you on Instagram, Moki Pops. That's everyone's homework for today. Thank you, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
I want to go. Hey, Ryan, is your microphone working now? Let's see. You want to give it a shot? Hi. Fantastic. There you are. All right. So 5 million TikTok followers. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Before you talk about what you're doing now, I want to hear a little bit about how you started, because a lot of times people will look at someone like you and think it was just successful. He had something special that I don't have. Suddenly he got 5 million TikTok followers. But this wasn't your first go round at this. You had a couple other channels that didn't work, right?
Yeah, so it was started when I was 9. I enjoyed making videos online. I saved up for my first iPod Touch 4th generation. And when that happened, I pretty much started posting on YouTube, and I never got anything big or anything like that. I just posted for fun because, it was just entertaining for me. It was something that I would do in my time and stuff. And then fast forward later, I just kept doing that. And it was a lot of trial and error along the way, a lot of failures. Like Brian pointed out, he was saying failures, there's no such thing as failure, and there isn't, because, the world, or most people out there, they tell you, oh, try not to fail or don't fail. But if you don't fail, how are you supposed to learn? Like, that doesn't, it doesn't correlate or make very much sense. So.
Oh, you just went on mute again.
Yeah, so like pretty much, yeah, sorry, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
We can, and I'm going to let AC and Brian chime in, but I just have one quick question on that. So I agree with you and Brian, no failure, you learn from it, etc. But can you just tell us how, because I think a lot of people get stuck in that moment of, oh, I tried this, it didn't work. Like, what did you say to yourself in those moments to say, no, I want to keep on trying?
Okay, so, all right. An example, right, is people around you, right? There was a lot of people around me when I started who looked at it, and thought it was, oh, right, it was like making videos. Oh, who are you to make videos? And, how is that going to work? And like, how is that going to pay the bills or anything like that? So it was like, it sounds cliche or anything, but it's like, if you we're in 2021 now, right? We have these things. You can monetize anything, literally anything now in the world, globally. So I don't want to go too far off because I know we don't have as much time, but like I can keep going on and on about it. But like, when you have a strong desire into something and you enjoy doing something so much, and you have outside people or voices and other things saying, oh, you what are you doing making videos, or you're bad at it, it's cringy, or it's not anything, you're not going to listen to those people. You're going to keep doing it because you just enjoy doing it. right? This is something that comes naturally to you. I just enjoy doing it, and it just somehow took me to where I want to be. And believing in yourself is the main thing. You have to believe in yourself. And if you have doubts in your mind, you know, I had people, close family members, quote unquote friends, even teachers, you know, saying this is not going to work out and everything like that. But, you know, you can be anything you want. You just have to believe in yourself and wake up every day and attack and take action on those goals that you set aside for yourself, and believe that you already have them and they're going to come natural. It's going to happen.
AC, I'm sure this resonates with you.
Yeah, yes, it does. It does. And Ryan, that's good. That's some good stuff there. It is. And, you know, I'll say this and I'll hit some points. Just, I agree in the sense of finding a way. Yes, the smartphone today is our way of life. Okay, I definitely agree with that. And something doesn't necessarily have to be popular. Popularity doesn't mean right. Okay, and so, and please, all of you understand that it doesn't, just because something is popular doesn't mean it's the right thing or in the right space or even the right time to do it. Okay, but at the same time, you can have a passion, and now it's about turning that passion into e-commerce or into dollars, into making money, as you're saying. And so, yes, your passion might not be the same as your brother, your sister, even your parents. Okay, I mean, gosh, I want to say Kyle, but I'm not positive, so I won't abuse his name. But I know even in his own household at 16 years old, he had the passion for video games, and going to the Midwest, playing in a Fortnite contest, winds up winning at the age of 16 a $3 million purse for a Fortnite contest. All right, and but his parents, now I know how the story had to go. Why are you in your room so much? Okay, why are you playing those games so much? You need to be out looking for a job, or hey, I want to take you to this, I want to expose you to that, and fall into the tradition and what they call normal. But he had a passion, and he wanted to try and go further with that passion. And lo and behold, when he came home with that $3 million check, you can best believe at that time he got his parents' attention. Don't you ever leave this room again. You stay there and you play this video game all day long. I'll bring your food to the door. So you can imagine how that story changed. But also, I want to say, in regards to gaming itself, as another prime example, that is a wave that is going through our whole country, not just North America, and it's something that just resonates with what you're saying, what we're talking about at this moment. It is finding a passion, finding something you can throw yourself into, and then let's find a way for it to be successful. If we can incorporate people, you can, especially the technology, smartphone and usage of that nature, then let's go for it and let's do that. You don't know a whole lot about hotels, I'm sure, and traveling around from city to city, country to country at this point in time. That's in all of your futures, I'm positive. But we used to have to go and stay in a hotel, but now there's a thing called Airbnb, where you can actually go and stay in some actual home or something of that nature, where the traditional hotel's not there, okay? It used to be a thing, you used to get a taxi service when you had to try and get a ride. You see some parents or families, hey, I'm gonna call a taxi. Now we have a thing called Uber, okay? And so a lot of models and traditions have been broken. So keep your passion and that belief in yourself is what I'm really saying, and echoing some of the things that you mentioned. And I'll turn it over now back to JJ or Brian.
Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, yeah, so Ryan, great points. And I mean, this is just terrific because, again, maybe we can say something that will help you. By the way, you now have 6,000,001 followers. So I'm not on TikTok, but I'm not doing it. But I want to go back to what you said about people discouraging you. Here, let's just be truthful. Let's be very direct. The reason that people discourage you is because they feel inadequate about their ability to try. The reason people discourage you from what you want to get is because, I'm not going to say they don't have the guts, but I'm going to say that they have so much self-doubt about what they can't do. So when they see you reaching, it makes them feel better to pull you back. And remember, we're not just talking to this screen, we're talking to all the thousands of kids who are out there. And I'm going to say this to you, don't you ever be discouraged about your dreams. Don't, and it's so easy. And I feel so bad because by the time people become adults, a lot of people get the life squeezed out of them because in their earlier part of that's why we're doing the program. In the earlier part of their program, they got so many people stepping on their head, telling them what they can't do. And it's, believe me, I mean, again, I started that organization, Inmates to Entrepreneurs, and, you know, people go to prison, they do things that are wrong. I understand that. But what really bothers me is a lot of those people had the life squeezed out of them at a very early age, being told what they cannot do. Now, going back to AC's point, which I like, if you can do something good and make money, that's terrific, right? You got to be focused on adding value to society. You want to do something that's good. But I guess here's the thing. My dad never graduated from high school. He got his GED. I was the first person in my family to go to college, you know, blah, blah, blah. But we used to watch we used to watch the football games on the weekend, and the guy catches the pass on the sideline and he starts going toward the goal line and he's running down the sideline like this, right? And he's got that goal line. He can see it. What does he do? Turns his head. The second he turns his head, what happens? He gets tackled. And my father used to use that as a metaphor. You got to know where you want to go. Don't worry about what the other person says, because they're not, I mean, not everybody, your family hopefully says some nice things about you, but the world is not always going to say great things about you. So when you catch that pass and you're going toward that goal line, keep in your mind where you want to be, and don't worry about what other people say about you. By the way, that's also true of ethics and the way you comport yourself and the way you are. You know where you're going. You're not worried about what's around you. And that will give you that confidence to be able to go through that. And Ryan, it sounds like that, you know, you've kind of been able to already do that, which is very rare, by the way.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's why I just kind of just have to take all that and learn to just, it made me stronger essentially. Now I can like withstand bullets, you know, I'm in public, somebody screams, you know, that's happened so many times, specifically in school when I'd, you know, make videos and stuff. Mind you, it was something that nobody would do. So like you were mentioning, you know, it's something they wouldn't self-doubt and stuff on their end.
Hey, by the way, I give you guys a lot of credit. I could never do this at your age. You're here on get all these millions of people watching or whatever. It's amazing. I'm just really impressive. Seriously. I'm gonna go check out your videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I want also. It's more than just videos. You use this platform to then launch a company as well. I want to give you a chance to tell us about that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I forgot about that actually. Yeah, I've done that. So. Yeah, with that, I started a Shaky Fam. It's flipped, but yeah, it started a company, a merchandise, clothing, apparel company, and stuff like that. And pretty much, I did that last year, and it's been doing well ever since. I pretty much just started because I figured, hey, you know, how can I kind of give my audience and just the people out there, you know, a company, or just to give them like clothing and apparel and stuff like that to, you know, obviously wear and stuff, but there's meaning behind it. So, you know, the slogan of my company is "We don't take L's," and essentially what that means is, you know, we don't take L's. Essentially, an L is a loss, and we don't lose. So we're winners. We don't take L's, we win. So, you know, it's all about positivity, and the same thing, like not giving up, right? You know, Nike's is just do it, you know, you don't give up. So, you know, that's essentially that. And I pretty much also have some technology as well. I have these LEDs and stuff behind me. I have like shaky LEDs is what I call them, as well as these Bluetooth earphones called Shaky Pods. And pretty much they're really just affordable Bluetooth earphones, because a lot of the, you know, earphones out on the market are really expensive, you know, like hundreds of dollars. And mind you, you know, even adults, right? Most adults aren't comfortable with spending hundreds of dollars on earphones. So I was like, okay, how can I leverage technology to the masses for something that's affordable, that brings decent sounding audio, you know, to the market? So that's what I essentially have kind of just did stuff.
Congratulations. It's amazing what you've built. Go eat a Moki Pop on your TikTok channel. Go wear some of Nick's shoes on your TikTok channel.
Yeah, that's cool.
But thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your story with us. I particularly appreciate you sharing the beginning days, because I think it's important for people to know this doesn't happen overnight, but it takes a lot of passion and a lot of believing in yourself on things Brian and AC were talking about. So congratulations, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks.
Nick Chong, you are up. Nick from Portland, Oregon has a shoe business, which hopefully I just got you some followers for with Ryan. But we'd love to hear. Tell us about your company and how it started.
Definitely, thank you. So yeah, my name is Nicholas Chong. People call me Nick or Nico. I'm the founder and owner of my business, Nico's Kicks. And so what I do basically is I'll buy shoes on release days or maybe even aftermarket prices, and I'll invest in those and hold them either short term for a flip or long term. And I'll supply those shoes to all the people, mostly local, that are wanting to purchase like the limited releases and such. And what's cool about it is like you make the connections within the sneaker community, and then you make like friends within that without just making the quick business transaction. You really build a relationship with the customers a lot of the time. So that's kind of my background, my business.
Hey,
Yeah. I think I've got an echo. So I'm going to let you take this, Brian, while I figure out this echo here.
Sorry, that echo could have been me too. My apologies. Nick, how did you get involved in that business? How did that even happen?
I think it first started with my passion for I grew up wanting to be a basketball player. I played basketball in middle school and high school. Obviously didn't go professional. I mean, I wish that could have happened, but that's just way out of reach. But seeing the celebrities and the athletes with the latest releases, all the famous people had the fashionable sense, I guess. And so seeing that, I kind of wanted to help get involved and provide it to the local community, and just my passion continued to grow for it and such. And I came up with Nico's Kicks because I grew up being called Nico by my parents a lot. And so that's kind of the background on the name of it and everything. And I figured it'd be cool to start a company that allows me to do so.
Yeah. Do you make a profit, Nick?
I do. Yeah. So a lot of the times the limited releases, they'll sell for retail price, and that's what I'll most likely be able to get it for, or a little bit over. And then those shoes will shoot up in price over time, or sometimes even right away. They'll be like $200 retail, and then you can sell them for $300 or $400 possibly.
Nick, I think I was never a retail person. I was in software, and when I was your age, I just did cut lawns, and I did coin laundromats when I got out of school. But I think the takeaway there for everybody listening is that basically you're what I call a market maker. You're a market maker, meaning if you can find stuff for $1, and that there's another group, that's the supply, and there's another group on the demand side, and they'll pay $2, you're making the market. And that's the beautiful thing about the internet. And I wish that was around when I was a kid, because that's very creative. So again, we talk to you guys, but we're also talking to the millions of kids out there that they're looking for something to do. And if you could be an intermediary or a market maker for something and put people together, one person wants the shoe, the other person has the shoe, then that's being an entrepreneur. So that's very creative.
Thank you. Definitely. No, yeah, I would definitely the whole point of starting my business, I think, was to help expand my entrepreneurial mindset on things and kind of venture out and actually really get involved in business. I'm a business major currently, finishing up my associates, so I kind of wanted to expand on my own adventure that way, and really get involved. Yeah.
I bet you. Sorry, I just want one last. I apologize. I want to have one thing for AC here. I bet you before AC became a professional basketball player for the Lakers, he might have dribbled a basketball in college or high school or middle school. And I just want to make this point before I turn it over to AC, because I'd love his thoughts on this. The point is, the earlier you start, you're developing your trade, you're developing your craft. So what you're doing now is very commendable.
Thank you.
1000%. Nico, man, hell. Okay. I'm so what elementary school did you go to there? In high school in Portland?
High school, I went to Reynolds High School.
You went to Reynolds. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've lived so I'm born and raised in Portland. Okay.
Nice.
And so I went to Benson High School from as far as high school level, and then I went to Oregon State and finished with the basketball journey there. And the thing about it is, so I'm really I'm loving the fact that an Oregonian I'm talking to. This is also really cool, But you've been able, and just to Brian's point, you've been able to identify a niche. Okay, and it doesn't have to be something, once again, it doesn't have to be something that everybody's doing. And that's what I love about all three of you. Okay, you're finding your passion, and you're making a way for success, a pattern of success, but you're not stuck also in just that one passion. I hear, and what I've heard from each of you is that you're also thinking of more. You're thinking of expanding. You're thinking your viewpoint has expanded in the sense you're not just stuck on, vegan popsicles, TikTok itself. Okay, you're not stuck on just Nico's shoes, but you can see a whole brand for all of you increase, develop, and become more. You're starting here, but that's not your ending point. That's not the end of the story. And that's what I love about what all of you are saying. And Nico, to your point, you're now You're now in the business. Okay, you have an associate. You're now looking and trying to develop even more in the business. And yes, my days walking in Northeast Portland, Nico, okay, I started. You can just imagine the kind of jobs and exposures that a person can have coming up in elementary school, then in the high school. And then there, and had no idea when I was walking to schools at Benson High School. For all of you, when I was walking to schools, the halls of my high school, I was just really looking forward to, as Brian's point earlier, I was just looking forward to being that first one who's going to graduate out of 4 kids in my family out of high school. That was the ultimate goal. And then lo and behold, because I started these different passions and I just explored. I love baseball more than anything, but I was horrible. Okay, I had like a 3-year career, but it was fun 3 years. But it was about a 3-year career. Football, I still love football. Watch the Super Bowl like I was playing the Super Bowl, and it still was something I still love. But those things I did not have the success in, but I kept trying. And basketball is what I wind up finding a path in. And then next thing you know, I get a scholarship opportunity. Nico, to your point, opportunities are coming for each and every one of you. And I'm just excited that you all have shared these things to us and looking forward. I wrote down all your different names, so I got to follow you all now. I got to sort of keep up with this path and this journey. But where you started is not where you're going to end. And that's really the point I really wanted to make.
Hey, Nico, I've got a question for you that I think everyone could learn from. which is you're in a competitive business. I have a teenage son. I can't tell you the number of times I had to put an alarm on my phone so I could, like, you know, buy a shoe that was dropping at a certain time while he was at school, and I missed it every time. And so I know quite a number of teenagers who are trying to do what you're doing. Either were not successful with it or just didn't stick with it. So what is it about you or your belief in your abilities or your passion for this that has kept you going?
I think the biggest thing is going back to my previous point was just, you know, being involved in the community, the sneaker community as a whole. It's helped me just maintain that relationship and that drive to keep going. And I really, you know, like, I think my biggest challenge though at the time or right now is expanding the business and, you know, building that client list, because right now I'm just at a small local level, so I'd really love to expand that eventually.
Brian, you have any ideas on that?
You know, I'm not a retail guy, but I want to be able to speak enough plain language that will help really everybody. You know, I've been doing this so long. I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe AC in basketball, it's keep a wide base and keep your butt down. There's basic principles, right? In entrepreneurism, one of the basic principles to expanding a business is to listen to the customer. Now, nobody ever argues with that because that's obvious, right? That's just like obvious, super obvious, like, but very important. So you're gathering customer information, you're keeping data. You're letting them follow you. You are constantly trying to build the base up from there. And this is one thing I'd say. Let me give you a specific. You know, if you look at the Amazon story, well, I think the fellow started with used books, right? And, you know, kind of an interesting thing. You go buy a book online. I mean, it seems so obvious now, but when he started it, that was a big deal. Then he went to new books. But at some juncture in that business, this is what I'm trying to say. I don't know any entrepreneur, it doesn't matter, billionaire, it doesn't matter, Nico, where they start. If they become a big success, it's not like they had that vision completely. The truth is, what they do is they start here and they start bobbing and weaving and being adaptive by listening to the customer. For example, when the guy was selling Amazon, the Amazon guy, he's selling books. At some point, he said, well, boy, really neat. Maybe I could go buy, you know, textbooks, or when they got the textbooks, I could go buy music or whatever it is. You're listening to the customer intently, and you're looking for clues as to how you can expand your business. That's exactly what we did at SageWorks. We started in the CPA market. It was kind of a small, boring market. It wasn't bad, but it was small and boring. But then we realized that bankers started to use our software. And then, of course, we went to the banking market, and the rest is history. So I guess I want to convey this to everybody. Listening to your customers, surveying your customers. By the way, if you get any customer complaints, I mean, I know it seems so obvious. You know, a lot of you might become tech people or whatever, but tech companies are not great at customer service, let's be honest, right? But you might be cutting laundry, you might be painting, whatever. Listening to the customer, making sure you do a good job. And they will give you hints, Nico. They will give you little hints as to how you can expand your business. I don't know what those hints are, but the value of listening to people, unbelievable, and asking questions. One last thing on that. I don't want to go on too long about it, but I'll tell you a quick story. There was a guy, we had this big office in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we had our employees were all there, and he ran a car detailing business in the parking lot. You know, I guess we gave him rights to do it, whatever. And there was like a line of cars, like 20, 30 cars every day. And I was too busy. I was running the company. I just go up to my office. I didn't even pay attention. But after about 2 years, I just became curious. What in the world? How is this guy doing? He had cars lined up to be detailed. So I went in line and I said, okay, detail my car. And at the end of the day, I go back to pick up the car. Very quiet person. Very quiet. Very understated, and picked up my car. Your car is done. Okay, that's great. Gives me the keys, and he says, "Hey, did I do okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, looks great, absolutely. Is there anything else that I could do?" to help you, to make this look better. I'm like, no, it looks wonderful. He goes, hey, would you mind referring my business over to other people you might know? Because he didn't know who I was. I was just another customer. And he gives me a business card. Do you understand? You guys understand? Really cared about the product, did a great job, but asked, do you think I did a great job? And is there anything else I could do for you? And finally, the power of word of mouth advertising, take the business card and give it to me so I can get the word out. So Nico, I know it sounds like basic stuff, right? In football, right? We say the low man wins, right? You got to hit a person low, right? But these principles that you're learning are the building blocks of building a big company. So listen to the customer.
That is such good advice. And sadly, we have to go in a second, but I want to give you both, AC and Brian, just a chance to give a final thought to these really fabulous entrepreneurs, but also to other teen entrepreneurs who are watching this right now.
I'm going to save the best for last. I'm going to let AC go last. I'm going to give a 1 minute thing. I just want to say this. I know that, it sounds a little hokey, but there's kids who are watching right now and they're discouraged. Maybe mom and dad aren't getting along. Maybe there's not enough money. And when I was a kid, the lights were always being turned off and the heat, and it was humiliating. It was terrible, So you got things going on in your life. It's very difficult I think, much more difficult than when I was coming up. It's very difficult to be young right now. You got peer pressure and social media and what people say about you. I guess what I would say to you is try to find something that you like to do. Just try to find something that you enjoy doing that you'd almost do without being paid. And there's so many people who don't do that because your work is not your life. Your work is not your life. There's other things that is your life, but work is a big part of your life. So if you can find something that you like to do, where you can have goals, then that can sustain you during tough times. Because I know there's a lot of people in young ages who are struggling. So I guess that would be my message. Try to find something that you enjoy doing, and because so many people don't do that, especially we adults.
AC?
And Brian, that's awesome. That is, and yeah, JJ, I think my final thoughts and points would be to all of our viewers and listeners, and especially to Nick, Ryan, and Nurjahan. Always know this: you're on a journey. Okay, this story in your life, called this chapter, it's a chapter at a time in this book. Okay, and so whatever you do, know that there's always going to be another chapter that's going to happen. 2, please remember, you stay as you are, in the sense in your mind, creatively thinking, all right, being willing to reinvest yourself. Just as your story changes, your business and business model is probably going to change too. Even as I play professional sports, made millions of dollars in that, and I say it because it's very public knowledge, but to stay in the game as long as I played the game, which is a lot longer than the average player, is because I was always willing to listen to someone and reinvest and reinvent my game, my style of play, to be valuable. And so what it is that you offer now, just make sure you're willing to make some adjustments, okay, and stay flexible, because as it was just mentioned, it's the people who demand a certain thing that lets you know, oh, I can make that into a business. I can do that. Okay, and that's where that law of supply and demand comes in. You might say, hey, I want to sell or do it this way, but someone's asking, no, I would love to have it this color or that way or at this time or this flavor. And so be flexible, and then next thing you know, you will be able to find yourself, your business going in the right direction. That's upward, and starting to see green things come into your bank account, and that's dollars. I love y'all, though. Y'all good. I like all of y'all.
As do I. I've got to say, you guys, I spent over a decade interviewing entrepreneurs, really famous founders who you've heard of, and people who are just starting out. And I got to say, you three are smart and know a lot about things, as much as anyone else I interviewed. So thank you, Brian. Thank you, AC, so much for your time today. Thank you to your foundation, the Brian Hamilton Foundation, Junior Achievement, the Taco Bell Foundation, for supporting this effort. Thank you to all the educators and the parents and all the students out there who are listening to this. But most importantly, thank you to Noor Jahan and to Ryan and to Nico for sharing your stories, for being brave enough to start your businesses, to keep going when times get tough, and being willing to be really open and sharing some of the stuff that you went through to get to where you are today. Because again, from the outside, often it looks like it's really easy. So I appreciate you guys being public and asking the questions that you need to grow your businesses. Congratulations, and I'm excited to follow all of you.